messing around. Let's have a little wait, a little pause, little
We're going
pause.
backwards.
Don't talk, Sean. Not until we start. All right. Let's have a little pause. Wait. And welcome to Twisted Dice. This is your weekly show where we talk all things wargaming. We talk news, rumours, tournaments, and kind of wherever the conversation goes, we let it go. As always, I'm here with Darren. Hello, Darren.
Hello, everyone.
And Sean.
Afternoon.
So we are full team tonight.
Evening.
Is it?
Well,
when does it go evening?
Well, normally just afternoon. It's just gone past 12 o'clock, so we're actually in the evening now. We're actually in the night. Let's get it right. We're
It
in
is
the
the
night,
evening.
Sean.
It is the evening. So this show goes live on Twitch every Wednesday at 9:30 when we can get our stuff together. But if you are stumbling upon us from the first time, you can catch us in lots of different media formats. So we do a battle report on YouTube, which goes live at the end of the week. So generally on a Friday, sometimes on a Saturday. But they're glossy, dice by dice. Beautiful armies, beautiful terrain. Definitely kind of catch them. We put a lot of work in. People seem to love them, so catch that over on the YouTubes. We also do other podcasts, so you can catch the latest Tip of the Spearhead, which is on all of the different podcast media. So you can catch that. We're very active on Facebook. And also on Instagram as well, where we do competitions and all sorts of goodness there. We run our own tournaments from time to time, and if you like what we do and you want to support us a little bit further, you can go over to Patreon and you can back us over there. Starts at just a $1 a month, but if you want to back us further, then there are perks and all sorts going on there. We've got a Discord server with all the members in there having a great time, sharing kind of hobby pictures and kind of tactics, all sorts of stuff.
Pictures of
And
Sean's
Pictures of the wife.
at the moment, they're getting to see pictures of Sean's wife, and that is fact. That is fact, right? Anyone that's in the chat
That's
at the
only for
moment,
patrons, by the way.
that's only for
patrons'
patrons.
eyes only.
That's the sort of thing that we lay out there, you know. We're that. We've already gone to a place where there's 100 people that just turned off. If we had 100 people listening, so that's kind of that's Twisted Dice. So this evening we've got a kind of packed show. We want to talk about the tournament that me and Darren were at last weekend because it was a lot of fun, and we want to go into that into a bit of detail and talk about a few of the other guys that were there because we had a really, really good fun Sunday. I know that Sean, you were at an event, weren't you, last weekend as well?
Yeah, I played Titanicus. I don't think I got an invite to the event though.
What, to our event, to this event? No, you didn't, because they know who. Yeah, that's right.
I remember that.
Well, to be fair, Darren didn't either. They just needed someone to make up the numbers. And how did that turn out for him? Not so well. But we'll go into that. But we'll go into that later. But yeah, so Sean was at a Titanicus event.
It was good.
Which I'm really looking forward to hearing about. And also, Darren wants to have a little bit of a moan and groan about Chaos Knights. And as always, we'll take your questions throughout the chat. So if you're jumping on, please do ask us questions throughout the show. And we'll take any questions specifically at the end. And yeah, just get involved. And if you're listening to this back, definitely jump in on the live chat on a Wednesday, because the more the merrier, and we like to interact with the guys in there. So before we kind of get on with the main agendas, what have you been up to, guys? What have you been up to this week so far? Right.
I've been working. That's pretty much the end all and be all. I did at the end of the last week. I bought some of the new knights for Titanicus, and I've built up 10 of them, and my hands are cut to pieces.
So you built up 10 knights? Or 10
I've got 10 of them. I'm going to sell 5 of them off. You know what I'm like? Wheeler dealer, buys 5 to play with, builds 5 up, sells them on, never gets round to selling them. So,
and they're the Porphyrons, right?
Yeah, that's right. They're pretty good in the game.
He's also that type of guy that buys them and never paints them.
Sorry?
You're also that guy that buys them but never paints them.
Yeah, I know. I said that. I was like, buy 5, paint 5. Don't get round to painting them. Only have none. Like, plays with none.
Yeah,
Poor
no, I was listening.
John Corson's going to get an email at the end of the week. John, I've got a bit of a commission for you if you're interested. I'm trying to get the best price possible.
I have. He's a good painter.
He's a very good painter.
Oh, mate,
Has anyone seen his
friggin' awesome painter?
Anyone seen his custodes? Out of curiosity.
I have, because unfortunately they're going to No Retreat, I believe. So I'll have the pleasure of them being around, and he's knocking around with those horrible tonks. So you reap what you sow, so to speak.
But it is John playing them, though.
It is John playing them, but those things you don't really have to try particularly hard to play them well, and I can tell you that because I'm speaking from experience.
Is that why you want to play with them?
That's exactly why I want to play with them, because they are very much point and click.
Maybe you should give that army to Sean then.
Oh, God, he's having a bit of a go tonight.
He's having a go, but
Isn't he?
it all comes from a good place.
Here we go. So, for myself,
Yeah.
busy, just gone back to work, busy. Running the club, getting all the train together, getting ready to paint it. We'll go into the night a little bit later on, but that's interesting. Put a load of stuff down on the side. So obviously the tournament's just gone up, got some really cool bits, put them onto the side, come in to go pick them up, to go take them down into my little man cave. And guess what? It's all vanished. So I said to the missus, where's it gone? What's gone? What's gone? The Warhammer stuff, the stuff that was on the side. Oh, I don't know. I never touched it. I goes, well, you must have touched it, Sarah. It doesn't get up and walk on its frigging home. Oh, I don't know where it's been. You know me. I put it in the drawer or it'll go in the other room. And you know what? Stuff's still not found. So she's picked it up and put it somewhere, and the silly moo don't know where she's done with it.
Oh, man,
So no, what are you missing then?
I'm missing my paint holder. £20 worth of voucher, and I'm missing a Knight Codex, Chaos Codex.
Do you think she's just chucked it in the bin, Darren? Do you think she's just like, I wish you'd get rid of this, and she's just like, I'm gonna put it in the bin, and he won't notice?
Do you know what? It's funny you should say that. I saw her down the bottom of the garden the other day with a lighter and a can of petrol. Only she doesn't realise that diesel don't burn.
Diesel don't burn.
Oh dear. So what have I been up to? So I am going to yet another event. So this one's a bit of a last minute jobby, but I am going to be going up to Southport on Saturday evening with one of the team, and we're going to go and play in the one-day RTT at Dyson Decks. It is a special Canadian ETC practice tournament, so I'm looking forward to catching up with some of the best players from over the pond, particularly Scary, who's a good friend of mine, and I have grudged him for the first game, so we're going to be throwing it down for a game. So he'll be playing his Dark Elder, and it is his ETC list, so it's absolutely filthy.
Pardon? Who are you going up with?
With Dan.
See, I'm jealous. I'm really jealous because I'd love to have come up to this one. And if I wasn't going down to Padstow, I'd be coming up, phoning another sickie and actually coming up with you.
Come as well if you like, Sean. Jump in, mate.
This weekend?
Yeah.
I am probably going to be recording or playing the game or editing, so I'm going to step out of that one.
No worries, mate. Well, don't say you're not invited.
Nah, that's cool. I appreciate it. It's nice to be invited.
I know, isn't it nice to be invited, right?
It's so nice. It's so nice to you. Yeah. I'll come.
Yeah.
Why don't you go to Martin's on the Friday night and maybe try to get battle reporting with Martin?
Me or Sean?
No, Sean.
That's a long way to drive.
It is a long way to drive. Like, I was in two minds, but
how far is that? That's got to be what, about 4, 5, 6 hours?
It's 4.5 hours, I think, is the journey. So I'm actually working late on the Saturday, so we're going to drive up through the night on Saturday evening, crash and then play on the Sunday, and then drive back on the Sunday.
That's a test in the old body, isn't it?
It is. So,
But John,
yeah,
I'm used to it.
Any easier to get over them?
Hmm?
It don't get any easier as you get older.
No, it doesn't. You're very true. You're very right there. But yeah, I'm off on the Monday at least, so that gives me a little bit of recovery time and a bit of chance to spend some time with the family, which would be nice. But yeah, really looking forward to it, actually. But I think it's going to be tough. Like there's so many good players there, and it's only a really small tournament, so it's only like I don't know, like 18 players, something like that. But it's going to be the field is going to be packed with like some amazing players. So I expect to lose every single one of my games, but it'd be a good experience and it'd be good kind of catching up with a few people. So I'm excited about it. Should be fun. We'll see what we can do, right?
So tell me this.
You only learn by your mistakes, right?
This is it. That's the way how you get better. You don't get better through winning. You get better through losing.
So the Canadian team's coming over.
That's right. So they're basically en route. So the ETC this year is being held in Serbia. So they are en route from Canada over to Serbia, but they're stopping in the UK as kind of like almost like a stopover sort of thing. So they're stopping over there. I think they're going to go down to Warhammer World on the Monday and kind of catch up with a few people, play some games and that, and then head over to Serbia sort of after that. So yeah, I think there's kind of stuff on the Friday, so they'll kind of just make a slow mosey on over to the ETC and kind of prep.
Why Serbia? Is there like which teams are in the ETC again?
So well, basically all of Europe are, and then say Australia, America, who are the current champions, and Canada and a few other nations. So, but yeah, I mean, they basically it's kind of a bit like the kind of I don't know, not the Olympics is a bad example, but basically they kind of almost like bid to hold it, and they kind of share it and take turns. And it's kind of it's decided by the captains where the event gets held, but it's all
on holiday next year, is it?
Yeah, well, this is it. Like last year was Croatia, and then this year it's Serbia. So, but yeah, I mean, I think they tried it.
Like, how do they get because I'm assuming not everybody's paying out of their pocket. Like some teams must, others. Like I know the American team, and I'm fairly sure the UK team are sponsored, right, and they can pay for their flights.
No, I think they actually have to pay, so they don't get they get some sponsorship to do with some stuff, but normally it's pretty much all pay. I mean, what I was talking to like some of the guys, and I think what they do is they like to try and make sure that if someone drops out or if they need extra players, they get everybody in the team to like put in a bit of money. And then if someone drops out, that's someone to kind of like support someone else going. But I don't actually think there's. And then I think sometimes when they need additional players, they'll pay for an additional player to go out. But I don't think as such they think they have to pay for it themselves.
So the UK have a team and Scotland have a team, isn't that right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. All the home nations have got a team. Yeah.
And who's on the UK team?
I don't know. There's generally all players that. Who's on there? Let me try and think of some names.
Is Mark on there?
Mark's not on there. Who's on there? So you got Josh Robertson, I think, is the captain. No, Felix isn't on there. Neither is Comrades, but they're obviously there. I don't know whether they're Polish. I think is their home nation.
Then you have to basically play for the nation that you were born in.
You don't have to, like there's no real strict rules around it. Different
no governing body.
No, exactly. I think different nations make certain rules for themselves, basically. So yeah, some nations are more kind of loose with it than others. But yeah, I mean, there's a good bunch of players. I don't think Alex Harrison's playing this year he normally plays for England. I can't remember actually. My brain's gone a bit blank, but yeah, it apparently it's one of our strongest teams that we've ever fielded. So one of the players though that is playing for us is we have got Nick Narvadi playing. So the American guy, basically he didn't make the US team. So we've pinched him, which has kind of caused a little bit of uproar, a little bit. in some circles, because they're a bit like, well, hang on a minute, why are we using somebody from America when we've got lots of good players over here? So I think it's rubbed a few people up the wrong way, probably players that were in the mix. But ultimately he is one of the best players, and obviously the captain and the coaching team have decided that they would rather take somebody that they know is definitely going to be a really, really good player over somebody that maybe they weren't sure of. I don't know. I don't really move in those circles to be able to know what that decision was, but it's definitely rubbed a few people up the wrong way, and it's definitely been taken the mick out of, like the US team are taking the mick a little bit, because obviously we're kind of taking almost like they're rejects in a way. So that's a bit harsh, but
you can understand why that's rubbed people up the wrong way, though. If they take it, if our team or the people that are representing England are taking Americans to represent England, that kind of does take the mickey a bit.
Yeah. I mean, as I said, I'm not close enough to the whole thing to really know kind of the deal with it, but
I'm outraged.
I'm outraged.
You're Irish, you don't count.
Yeah. The Irish are playing America in the first round. They grudge matched them, so that'd be interesting. But yeah, so that's kind of what's
Sean on the Irish team.
I reckon we could if Sean decided that he wanted to do anything other than try and draw. Then I think we got a good shout.
Try and draw? What are you on about?
You love drawing, mate. It's your favourite thing.
Do I draw? What are you on about?
Oh, no, look. Oh, I don't know what you're on about. It just generally happens to me. I don't know how it happens.
Oh, draw.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't like drawing. I was like, I've never picked up a pen and paper.
Both me and Darren were thinking he knows exactly what we're talking about here.
Yeah, of course he does.
He's playing the troll card.
I mean, technically, that's incredibly difficult to do.
It is. It's really difficult to draw.
It really is, especially not TC, like the champion.
It's a set skill.
5 out of 6 games, was it?
I'm working on my softer skills, right?
Yeah.
It's not all about the models on the table. In fact, funny enough, I've watched Baker do it multiple times. Like Lawrence Baker will get people where they're on the ropes, and what he'll do is he'll just say, "Well, I'm going to do this, this, and this," right? So he takes a game of like probability, right? In the last one, he's going to say, "Well, I'm going to do this, 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 and this." And I'll probably win, and I'll do this, this, and this. And sometimes their opponents will just be like, yeah, okay. And they'll give it to him. They'll give him a win. And I just think, like, he could really fluke it. Like, he might dangerous terrain test, something he might fail to hit. But it's a really interesting one. He shared it with me. And I do it as well in games. Like, you can get away with it. If you're winning and you think, like, I've got this in the bag, you just say to your opponent, look, should we call it there? Like, do you want to keep going? And if they throw the towel in, like, it's not chance anymore. They've given up. Do you do that, John?
No.
Not at all?
No, not at all.
I think it's good.
Controversial.
It is controversial, but your opponent's got to say, yeah, of course. Like, yeah, okay, yeah, I'm not enjoying it.
It's technically against the rules.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yes.
Where?
Yeah. Well, it is, because it's almost like collusion. So it's actually, you're right, it's what a lot of the top players will do. So when they get to a stage where they're running out of time, or they think they know what's going on, and they think they can have an open and honest conversation with their opponent, they will often kind of go, right, let's kind of talk out the last 2 or 3 turns. And if they agree with them, they'll put that down as a score. But technically, and as I said, that's rife. That happens in all big tournaments with a lot of big players, which is why they score so heavily. But actually, it's against the rules. You're meant to, like, either you concede, and the concede is the points, or you play on to, and when the game finishes, that's the score at that point. But it's really well known that happens, and it's not. There's nothing like really snidey about it or anything kind of like underhand. But it is a rule that technically it's not in the rules. You can't do that. You can't carry on doing it.
I play this like a gentleman's sport. I'm just like.
Yeah, I mean,
should we call it there? I think I've won the roll off now. This is probably not going to go your way.
See, if someone said that to me, I'd say bollocks, mate. I ain't giving up just yet. Let's carry on.
You're really stubborn, Darren. You're super
I am really stubborn. I am really stubborn, but that's
so
fine.
we're kind of like going all around the houses now. So where do you want to start? Let's start with let's get your rant out of the way, Darren. I want to hear a little bit about Knights. Let's have a little chat about your Chaos Knights before we kind of talk about
discussion, John. It's a discussion, and as a community, we're going to try resolve this issue. So, really excited. Come back Monday, Tuesday even. I got my free Chaos Knights. I was so excited.
You got free or you got 3?
I got 3 of them.
Oh, okay, I thought you said you got 3
I have got 3 of them. I was well excited. I was like, damn, I'm going to have 3 friggin' awesome cool Knights for the channel. They're going to look so banging. I've got the colour scheme in my head already. I know how they're going to look. I know what I'm going to arm them with. Going to magnetise all the weapons on them. This is going to be 3 of them. They're going to be good.
They're green.
He's trolling you, Darren. He's trolling you.
I know. That's why I'm going, It's going like, it's like a water off a duck's back. Anyway, so I got these 3 Knights, got really excited, opened up the first pack, and half the bloody weapons are missing. I'm like, you've got to be shitting me. Maybe it's just this one box that's missing a sprue. Open up the second one. No Gatling cannon, no battle cannon, no melter, no missiles.
What no missiles on the top?
No missiles on the top, dude.
Are you serious? That's bad.
No missiles on the top. It's like, what the trying to keep this obviously friendly. So, very, very disappointed. Popped a message onto Games Workshop's Facebook page to have not to have a rant, but just ask him, like, is this a mistake, or is there an opportunity I can purchase the sprue with all the extra weapons on? And I just got a blank. And someone then replied back to me like a couple of minutes later saying, yeah, you've actually got to buy another Knight for the stuff. Like, what?
Do you know what's really interesting, right? They had this when they did it with Titanicus, right? So they brought out the Knight box set and the original Warlord. So you could basically, and this is what they've done, they alternate the kits. So they bring out one Reaver body with half the weapons and another Reaver, which is the Chaos one, with the other half of the weapons. But what they did was people complained and they said, look, obviously we've all gone out, we've bought these weapon options thinking you're going to bring them out in a blister pack, but you're actually expecting us to buy an entirely different, Warlord for like 60, 70 quid. And they're like, I'm not doing that. It's not good enough. Why have you done this? And they actually ended up bringing out the sprues in the little plastic, you get a little plastic GW baggie like you used to get from Forge World, with the sprue in there. So I would really, really like to see them do that, because the thing is, right, like I'm also going to do a Knight army. I've got my Atropos Knight. I've already got one Chaos Knight, and the thing is, I'm like, okay, well, if I do a Knight army and I buy an Imperial Knight, I don't really want that. I really like the look of the Chaos Knight with the reverse jointed legs. So if you want to do 3 of those, you don't even get you just get the missile pods, or even like, the thing is, right, even if they brought out that blister pack, you're still looking at like 15, 20 quid a pack just to get the weapons. So you can spend another 40 quid.
You're 100% right on that, but I'd rather spend the 10, 15 quid on the blister pack than having to spend 95 quid on another Knight that I'm only going to take the weapons out of, and then I've got the whole body that's going to be doing absolutely nothing. And I don't want to do that neither, because I've already got a Knight army already. So I've already got 4 Chaos. I've already got 4 Imperial Knights already. What I don't want to do is go out and actually spend, another couple of £100 on Imperial Knights.
500 quid. It is crazy.
Yeah, it's bonkers, and that's just for the weapon options. And the beautiful thing with the Chaos is you've got that ability to double up on the Gatling cannons. So like my thought upon my Chaos Knights, I was probably going to go 1 close combat, and I was looking to have 2 that were shooty. So possibly double up on the Gatling cannons, because that's going to help, try clear out some of your horde. Anything of armor, then hopefully the close combat Knight will then be able to get across the table and get in there and do some damage. that's the plan anyway. But yeah, I was absolutely devastated just to realise that all the stuff that you need for the Chaos Knights are not there, and it was kind of like, okay, that bigger for me, I suppose, to not noticing that in the, looking on the website properly. So you could say, really, I am to blame on that one. But if I'd have known what I know now, I wouldn't have bothered buying the Chaos Knights, and I'd have actually bought some more Imperial ones, and I'd have just Chaos fired them up, or just put some of the, some of the Chaos colours on there, and maybe gone from a bits box and just slammed some Chaos bits, some Chaosy bits around the weapons or something like that, and just gone down that route, because that to me was quite a bit of an insult from Games Workshop to myself on that. I was kind of gutted that, for 95 quid, they don't add those bits on. So very, very disappointed on that. So then it kind of then made me think, okay, right, so we've got this problem. I've got 3 knights. They're not, I don't want the, what's the weapon that comes with it? The laser destroyer weapon. I don't want that because it's only D3 shots. Yes, it is strength 4. It is D6 damage. On 6 it does do mortal wounds. But that's dog shit. What's that actually going to do for me? Because like if you go up against Necrons, they're going to ignore it. Yes, granted, you can wound things on 2-ups, but it's not going to do what I need it to do, pretty much. So anything strength, toughness 7, I'm going to win on 2s. Other knights, other vehicles that are toughness 8, are going to be winning on 3s. So that weapon to me, A, it doesn't push out enough firepower, and B, it's not what I want to arm it with. I want a bit more variety in what I've actually got. So gutted on that. So looking upon the website, seeing whether or not I can purchase the weapons, first of all off eBay, and no surprise at all, eBay is stripped bare of all Gatling cannons. Gatling cannons are not on the menu. Battle cannons, not on the menu. In fact, I didn't even think I saw the melter on there. So, okay, that's cool. So then it then leaves me with 2 other options. One would be to scratch build a Gatling cannon. So then just getting some of the plastic card, putting some of those bits together. But then, or even possibly still, I have got some of the old Forge Fiends, maybe cut some of the turrets off the Forge Fiend itself and use that as a Gatling cannon. But for me, I'd rather have the proper Gatling cannon itself. That's where I'd like to go. So that's one option. Now the second option was there's 2 other options. One is the 3D printing side. Now I know obviously a lot of people don't like the idea of 3D printing, but there is an opportunity on there on Thanksgiving. I can't remember the name of the site. Is it Thingives?
One I linked you.
That's no, not the one you linked me, because that one you have to pay for. They want
only
money
for the file.
Yeah,
it's only like £1.50 or something like that.
$1.99. But
wow, well, Darren.
Hold on.
Hold back that cash, mate.
You're right. You're right. It's not bad, but there's 2 things to this. One, you need a 3D printer, or you need to know someone that's got a 3D printer. Luckily, I do have a 3D printer, but at the moment, my 3D printer is with a friend. He's just printing off some things at the moment. So you've got that option where we can spend the £2 on that option. But there is on the Thanksgivings, someone has got a free version of the Gatling cannon on there. You can
save
download.
Yourself save yourself £1.
There you go. See, I saved myself a bit of cash, but you've got to make sure that obviously the file comes out and it comes out perfect. So that's one thing on there. So that's an option. Now, second option, I've been going on to some of these other little third-party websites. So you've got Crowcast. Is it Crowcast? Spellcast? Spellcrow, that's it. So they do an absolutely awesome Gatling cannon. Like, it looks absolutely mint, like really, really cool. But now the only problem with that is, if I ever decide then that I want to take these Chaos Knights and I want to go to a GW event, I'm not going to be allowed to use the Chaos Knight at a GW event. So that is my dilemma. But to be fair, do I go to a lot of GW events? No. Most of my events are an ICT format, which GW don't support. So it would be for myself, I would be going to some of the local tournaments, or going to some of the bigger ones where I could easily get away with anything on the table. I could just even rock up with a a night 3 colours, but that's not how I roll, and get away with it. So my question is to everyone out there, how is everyone else getting around this little thing in regards with missing weapon options on the knights? See, one of the options I was thinking about, Forge World do some really, really cool missiles for the Dreadedeo. And I thought...
Deredeo.
Oh, yeah, that as well. Same dog, different ears. You know me, I can't get my words out. So I was thinking really maybe possibly the missile pods from that would probably look pretty damn cool, just sat up on top of the actual knight itself. And then I've also got the little rocket pods off from the Vulture gunships. Now, of course, they're little diddy things, and it probably wouldn't look right. These little diddy missile pods just sitting on top of a knight. However, I could mod it to advantage that with the missile pods, I can probably hide behind a building because the other missile pods are absolutely massive. But it's an option out there. So that's my gripe. That's the thing that's really got me this week. It has put me in tears. But look, if you come up with some ideas and you can think of something, please drop us some comments down, into the Twisted Dice Facebook group. Be really, really interested to see, other people's thoughts and opinions on this. Or if you know some really, really cool sites that we can get some of this cool stuff, or maybe that you're a supplier that supplies these things and you'd like us to do a little review on them, that would be absolutely awesome too.
How do you reckon we engage with just the company to try and get them to release second weapon options? You can't really you couldn't expect anyone who doesn't have any money, do you know what I mean, to be able to afford to buy let's say they want to start a new army, so they buy 3 knights. They can't be expecting people to go out and buy more knights just to get weapon options. They can't be well, we'll sell them separately. Do you know what I mean? We'll sell the other weapons and the other knight boxes, and they can just go and buy. What are they trying to do? Do they just want people to buy different type of knights and chaos them up? I don't really get it.
It sounds like down that route that's what they want you to do. So the only other option then is you as I said, you either go down the other part route where you buy third party stuff, which then you can't use at their tournaments, which kind of sucks a little bit. Or we maybe set a petition up together, get loads of people to write into GW in some form, where we do a petition, or whether we put an email together with loads of contact numbers or something. I don't know, and have a real... We go onto Games Workshop's website and we just bombard it with, look, hey, we want our friggin' sprues. Sort the fucking sprues out. No mucking around. We want sprues for our upgrades for our knights. If not, we're going to send Sean around.
Yeah, I mean where the Gatling cannon comes from, it's 1 sprue. So you basically get an upgrade sprue that you get in with. So when they originally made knights, so the first time when knights very first came out, what you used to get the thermal cannon, and you used to get the battle cannon, and you used to get the chainsaw. So that was the original knight. So when they changed them to put the turret on top and give you the option of the Gatling cannon and the fist, they sent out, when you bought the knight after that, you got an additional sprue, and on that sprue came all of that. So actually all they need to do is release that sprue as an upgrade kit, and then their job done. So they don't actually need to separate these options off, off a main sprue. It literally...
Is that a main sprue? What's the battle cannon?
No, so the battle cannon would be. So the battle cannon does come on the main sprue. So the battle cannon and the thermal cannon are in the original sprue, which will probably have other stuff on it. But you could easily release the Gatling cannon, the fist, and the rockets on top, because they all come on 1 sprue.
So if you buy a Knight Galleant, the combat one?
Yeah, well you can't. You can't is the answer. You have to buy a normal knight. They'd never done a gallant as such, as far as I'm aware. You just buy a knight and you choose to use. So you'd buy the Crusader box, which basically has everything in it, and then you just arm your knight with a fist and a chainsaw from that.
The first knight never came with the option for a fist, did it?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So that's when the new sprue comes with a fist. It's one of the options on there. So the gallant because again, the Gallant wasn't in the original layout. So the original layout, you just had the Paladin and the Errant were the first two knights, which was just basically thermal cannon or the battle cannon. And then it's after that when they introduced the additional ones, and then they gave the option of the Crusader and the Gallant. If my memory serves me right, I mean, I've never been a Knights player, but that I think is the case.
So the bottom line of it is, for GW, it's not a difficult process. It's just a simple case of they just print off more of one of the sprue, and then that's job done. They don't even need to box it up. They could just do it off web sale, 15, 20 quid for the sprue, and I guarantee they would shift. So for me, that's got to be a money maker for them. Otherwise, they're just going to have people just going out buying third party or printing their own ones off, right?
I mean, I think the way that I'm gonna go with it is I want to go with the Hades autocannons from the Forge Fiend, because they're actually a pretty good fit, and that means then you've got a Games Workshop model. If you do want to take them to a Games Workshop tournament, you can. They're really chaosy. They actually fit the right size. Very little modification needed.
Most people are Fiends anyway, don't they? So they're just lining up.
Well, there's not. I think most people do, exactly as you're right. You're right, Sean. So the problem is, I think that's people are aware of that as well. So they're not hanging around the bits shops either. And that's still like a 30 quid kit. But what you could do then is, what I'll probably consider doing is buy the kit, use the guns for your knight, then sell them all a Fiend, because someone will still buy the Mauler Fiend, knock $5 off it or something. Someone will buy that Mauler Fiend as a bargain, still on the sprue apart from two guns.
Yes. Look, you have got that, but then the thing is, you got upon that is that you've got the mount which the gun sits upon. So with the current knights at the moment, you have the A close combat, or two close combats, or close combat and the laser destroyer. That's all you've got. So if you want to run two Gatlins, you still have that problem of you still need to buy a second knight for that second arm joint.
For the mount. Oh, you've got the arm joint. It's just the mount, isn't it? It's the housing bit.
It's the housing bit, yeah. Because I was looking at this last night, and I was looking upon the Gatling cannon, or from the Hades auto cannon from the Forge Fiend. Like the biggest problem you've got with it, if I can still find it out, is it's not long enough. So that's the actual. This makes great entertainment, by the way, for anyone that's listening to this back on podcast. But the Hades autocannon is that big, and of course the actual gun itself. So that's the housing. So that's the housing on the back. Yeah. So then the Hades autocannon sitting on the front would be roughly the same size.
Yeah, that works. That works.
Yeah, that will work.
Yeah.
But in the box, you only get
one of those. Yeah. Which is that's where you get a bit of a problem.
Yeah. So this is the. See, like if there was two of those in there.
Yeah.
We could have probably. You're right that a lot of Chaos players could have got around that with the bits boxes with the Hades autocannons. Let's face it, not a lot of people went with the Forge Fiends. They went with the Mauler Fiends. So a lot of people do have these weapons knocking about, right? So that would
how many Imperial Knight boxes are there? There's the special character.
Yeah.
There's the big one, the Castellan. Yeah. And then you've got
Castellan Valiant,
Crusader. Is that right?
I'm going to tell you.
I think it is just the it's just the two knights that are available for.
You keep talking, guys. Just otherwise it makes poor entertainment.
So
I'm just gonna have a quick look.
It is literally just there is two kits. So you've got the close combat one with the battle cannon and the chainsaw for 85, and then for the extra bits, for the Imperial Knight Warden, that comes in at £95. So the £95 is the same price as the Chaos one, apart from you don't get all the
All the
cool
fun
bits
stuff.
that you really do need to make the Chaos Knight work. Now, don't
Yeah.
get me wrong, you know, listening to
what's the
various
difference
different
between the
podcasts and
paladin?
different things,
What's the difference
people are saying that
between the
the
paladin,
close
the
combat knights
warden?
are really good. But I don't, me personally, that's not how I want to run my knight. I want something that can actually support the chaos in the firepower, because with Chaos Space Marines, that's one thing that they do lack upon. They are more of a close combat type army, or they need to be closer up. So this is a way of supporting the Chaos, you know, the Chaos Space Marines, and giving it that little bit of extra firepower across the, you know, across the tabletop. That's my 2 pence. But I do, you know, there's got to be a way around this. They've got to be a way where, or an option where you could purchase that extra add-on kit. And I'm surprised that you can't buy that extra add-on kit.
Maybe they did it before. I'm sure they did it before where they allowed people to get their hands on it.
Yeah. I'm not sure.
Anyway.
Yeah,
Not
no,
sure.
they've never sold the extra add-on kit on their own. They used to in the past, didn't they? We used to be able to buy this sprue for like the Rhino upgrade kit. So if you had a Rhino,
Yeah, but more and more they've kind of got away from that, haven't they? I think so.
Yes.
But anyway, so that's your kind of rant on that. So and I think it's fair. I think it's fair. I'm in the same boat. Sean's in the same boat. I think we all want to do Chaos Knights to some degree. And I think you're gonna want that Gatling Cannon Knight, because definitely. I mean, check out our mine and Simon's podcast, but we talked about it in detail, and it is by far the strongest knight. There's no doubt about it. So you're going to want it, and that's a problem. So definitely, if you're listening to this back, and there's a way of you writing comments and stuff like that, so put it in the comments and let us know what you've done about it, if you're in the same problem, and what you've come up with. And if you've got ideas and you're live in the chat now, put in your ideas now, and we'll discuss them there a little bit later on. So Sean, let's talk about your tournament. Let's talk about what you were doing this weekend. So let everybody know what you've been up to and what you did.
So I went to the Guys Saloon and I played about 7,000 points of Titanicus, which was good fun. Played with a guy called Chris from Tabletop Standard. So he started putting out some battle reports. I played with a guy called Jeff, who's very vocal on the Adeptus Titanicus group. And I played with a guy called Michael. So there were 4 of us who turned up. It was a little bit of a trial run to see how some of the how the game scales. What we're hoping to do, or Michael's hoping to do, is do narrative events from the kind of the rule books. And we played Titan Debt, which, if you go back into the lore, is one of the biggest Titan battles. And the rules for that were pretty interesting. So once you destroy an engine, it goes off the board, and then you bring it back on at the start of the next phase. So I think during the pace of the game, we had about 14 engine kills. And the interesting aspect of the game is it actually doesn't really scale that well. So you can get a 1750 game in less than 2 hours, so about an hour and a half pretty quickly. But with people and 7,000 points, it gets a little bit bigger. So it's a bit like 40k. Once you start getting to the 5, 6, 7,000 point mark, those games are going to take quite a while, because you've got to individually activate everything. So that was pretty interesting. Put a few pictures up in Discord and enjoyed my day out.
Yeah, sounds good. So you're still loving the game, still enjoying it?
Yeah, still loving it, still enjoying it. Every time we play somebody different builds. It's kind of, I think, because the game is only been out 1 year now, whenever they bring out a new kind of kit that has some new rules, it can potentially change the game. So the meta swings can be like incredibly, I suppose you can see them. They're significant. You can see them very quickly. So the Pyrian Knight has come out. Porphyron, and is pretty brutal, actually. It's just got a devastating amount of firepower.
Did anyone have one on the weekend or not?
Jeff bought one, and
done the business.
Yeah, done the business. Shredded. They just shred warhounds because the warhounds don't have a huge amount of shields on them, and then when they're being hit by the it's not much.
We lost you for a minute there, Sean.
Oh, still here.
It's those hamsters, mate. You've got to get them running faster.
Do need to get them running faster. It's BT, they're my provider.
That's just, I feel that's a shame. Like, because I really like if I do ever properly get into Titanicus, which I hope to at one time because it looks super cool. I want to do like my World Eaters, like kind of like Warhounds kind of based army, and like loads of them, like hunting packs. That's kind of what I want to do. And if it sounds sad if they're just going to get absolutely bullied by little knights.
So the thing with those knights is they're quite small. So if you play on a table with a little bit of terrain, you're probably unlikely to run your warhound out there. And then the other thing is before the game, there's probably somewhere in the region now of about 26. There's probably about 50 stratagems and like that you can pick. So you can definitely, before you play your opponent's army, you can definitely shut a lot of it down just by picking stratagems and playing them. So you can
there might be some ways to counter it then.
Yeah, there's one that's called like electromagnetic rain or something like that. It's like an element environment that you play, or static rain, and it shuts down all of their ion shields. So they don't even get any saves. And the more of them you have, so if you've got 4 knights in the pack, they'll have a better invuln saving throw. So that'll shut them down. And then the other thing you can do is you can hit them with like orbital bombardments, quake shells that knock them around and make them do kind of morale tests before they can kind of move or activate. And I was thinking about this the other day, and I realized like the reason that they've had to bring out the how do we pronounce it again, John? The
Porphyron.
I've been pronouncing it totally wrong. But the reason they brought this out is if anybody who genuinely is interested in doing a knight-only army, they kind of need something that can go up against some of the bigger units. Because if you can't take on a warhound, give a reaver a bloody nose, or take on a warlord with a couple of them, like you're not going to really be playing knight armies. All you're going to do is you're basically going to build loads of knights. They're going to charge forward, and either your knights get into combat with the the Titans and they defeat them that way, or you just get outgunned. Whereas at least now you've got the option to build a shooting knight list, and you can just kind of like play around a little bit more. So it'll probably be good for the game in the long run.
Nice, cool, awesome. So while you were playing Titanicus, me and Darren were, as you rightly said, where you weren't invited, we were we were in Gosport down on the south coast, taking part in the Idic Beers 10-year invitational tournament. So this was just a real kind of small, casual little event that the Nick Beer from Idic Beer decided to come up with just to celebrate his 10 years on YouTube. And it's coincided with his 15,000 subscribers as well. So big milestone. And if you haven't already checked out Idic Beer, definitely check him out. Give him a sub if you're on YouTube. I know he'll appreciate it. And he does an awful lot for the community. Very big Necron player, and that's where his love is and his speciality. But he does lots of videos on all sorts of stuff, and he's been, as I said, he's been doing it for 10 years, so there's loads of content on his channel. So me and Darren went down there to play in this tournament. So it was 1,000 points, and it was Highlander style. So with the exception of troops, you could only use 1 unit of each data slate. So pretty restricted, and we basically played missions from the rulebook with the addition of kill points added on there as well for a little bit of extra flavour as well. So good little crowd down there, and I'm going to give the guys a little bit of a shout out. And I don't know whether you can pop their links in the chat. So if you've got Twitch up or anything, you can do some stuff where I go through these guys to give them kind of shout out, because it was a good bunch of guys and they all got their own YouTube channels, and I know again they would really appreciate the kind of the follow and the sub. So we had old average Brit gaming, which was Nick. So I think at the moment he's actually working on a Warlord Titan, like the full big Warlord Titan. I think is his big thing at the moment. So the guy's not messing about. A really good hobbyist. Got a beautiful collection of different armies, and definitely check him out. Then we had Bill. Bill's got Warzone Morlock is his channel. I've not checked him out myself yet, so I will be checking him out, but definitely give him a follow. I know I appreciate it. He had that really cool Primaris army, Darren, didn't he?
He did, yeah.
That was really cool. So it was like all Primaris, but it had been kind of like converted and adapted to look like Emperor's Children. So a really, really cool one. He had a nice kind of effect on the pink-purple colour. Really, really nice. And then there was Richard from CM Wargames, Capitan Morgan, I think it used to be called, but I think he's changed it to CM Wargames now. And he does a lot of like vlogs and other bits and pieces. He's kind of a tournament player as well, and he's been working on his orcs. But definitely, and I think he's just hit a milestone as well. So I think he might even have a little competition and a giveaway on his channel. And again, he'll really, really appreciate that. And they're all great guys, all really, real nice bunch. Very dedicated and passionate about the hobby, and all of them I know would really, really appreciate your support. So give them a shout. So we avoided each other in the first game, didn't we, Darren? So who did you play?
So game one, I played Ken with his Blood Angels, which was interesting. My looters did not manage to do any damage whatsoever. My smasher guns didn't do no damage whatsoever. It was just down, and I didn't even get first strike, and I got an absolute pounding by incoming fire from his whirlwind. And then obviously he had 3 of the I forgot what they're damn
Land
called.
speeders.
Land speeders, that's it, with all the missiles and all the heavy bolters. So I had an absolute pounding from these damn things coming at me hard, taking orcs out left, right and centre. A couple of mistakes were made from himself. Unfortunately, he did pull himself a little bit too further forward. I didn't think he kind of expected what to expect from the orcs. So when it did come into turn 2, I was then in my element, because all his close combat stuff had come up close enough for me then to charge, just held back just enough, just to get in there, charge, and then I managed to just pull myself across the table and then just literally just rip everything apart. So turn 3, 4, it was over. But it was a good game, fun game. Ken was an awesome fella. We had such a good laugh, and that was the main thing about it. So I just felt bad for him having a horrible army compared to a nice, fluffy army. Like a real nice, soft, fluffy army. You know, gone with the classic Marines. They look really, really cool.
Blood Angels, wasn't it? Blood Angels, I think.
Say that again.
Blood Angels, I think, wasn't it?
It was Blood Angels, yeah. And he had snipers in there as well. There were so many cool things in there. And unfortunately, the orcs did just overpower him, unfortunately.
And it's pretty tough as well, because they're cheap as well, aren't they? So like in 1,000 points, you do get a lot of orcs. So, but yeah. So my first game, I played against Richard and his orcs, funny enough, and quite a similar list to Darren. So he had very, very similar kind of build. So he had his looters, he had big blocks of boys. And some kind of characters sprinkled in, so pretty similar. He didn't have the smasher guns. Instead, he had a unit of tank busters. So the big turning point for this game was the fact that I got first turn. So I got first turn, and then I charged up the board. The Gene Stealers went into his boys. I killed one whole unit. I took a little bit of a chunk off the other one, which was quite good. And the other unit of Gene Stealers flew up the other side of the board. They killed all his looters. So first turn, he lost one of his big units of boys, he lost all his looters, and he lost a little bit of his other boy unit as well. So I took a massive big chunk out of his army. He did hit me back, and he did pretty much kill the majority of the Gene Stealers in return. So I was pretty much out of my troops. He then had the opportunity then to come at me a little bit, but he was quite a long way back on the board. He decided to use his to jump his shock attack gun into a position where he could see my hive guard, but unfortunately he fluffed his shots, and then my hive guard finished him off. But in the end, it was really it was touch and go, because he had much more left than me at the end of the game, but I had managed to build up quite a lot of points in the beginning of the game, and he just run out of time. Basically, he couldn't take it back off me, and the game ended, and I got a slim victory out of that. But it was a really good game, and Richard did well. So yeah, it was a good start to the tournament. Then your second game, Darren?
So my second game was with Mr. Idic Beer himself, with all the Necrons. Absolutely horrible. Nick did get turn 1, couldn't seize, and I ain't gonna lie, it hurt. Turn 1, there was so much firepower come off. Now he had 6 destroyers. How many bikes did he have? 4 bikes? 5 bikes?
More than that, he had a full unit. 6, I think. 6 bikes.
Yeah, 6 bikes, 6 destroyers, 5 little, 6 little immortals,
Wraiths.
And then what else?
Yeah.
Yeah, some scarabs.
Wraiths.
Yep. So there was a lot. So turn 1, he got turn 1. He split his fire. So he fired his bikes into the back squad of orcs. So he split them up. Half of them went into the back squad of orcs, and half of them went into the front lot of orcs. Destroyers then went in, killed 27 of my orcs off, 11 off the back squad, and then 27 off the front. Thankfully, I had command points left over, so I spent 2 command points to auto pass, and then I'd done that lovely thing that all orc players love the most, and that is the green tide, which then allowed me then to get myself right up the board and get where I need to be. Going into shooting, now the mission for this one was the relic in the middle, where you had like a 12-inch bubble where you didn't get your invulnerable saves. Then it was the one where it goes from 18, then it drops down 3 inches each turn. So with this turn, it was looking pretty bleak turn 1, where he'd done a hell of a lot of damage, but I managed to get into his destroyers. So the looters did actually come on form. They did manage to take out his bikes, so the bikes were out. Smasher guns took out the rest of the bikes, managed to take out 3 destroyers with the other smasher guns, and I managed to get my full squad of orcs into combat with his destroyers. Now, bucket loads of attacks going in there. I managed to do 2 damage, and he saved both of the damn damage. It's like, and of course, because they're destroyers, next turn they just get up and they just move away, and there's nothing you can do about it. And then he's getting these damn things up. Luckily for me, I managed to sit upon the objective all the way through the game, which I was then guarantee I was scoring points on that main objective every turn. But it was starting to come close towards the end, where he was then starting to pick things off, like the smasher guns. Oh, I forgot about his wraiths as well. He had 6 wraiths, and they were I just found I was struggling to clear these wraiths off. But at the end of the game, we got 6 turns in. Nick was sitting on 5, and I think I was sitting on 11 points. So I did manage, just holding those objective offs in the middle, getting line breaker, did win me the game. But it was cool. It was
Nice.
Such a cool game. Nick's such an awesome fella. You could tell he knew his stuff on Necrons. He really knew what to do with those things. But I think with myself, it was just that case. I got really, really lucky with he didn't manage to take out the whole green tide. And I think if he could play that again, I think he would have probably just focus fired on one squad of orc boys just to make sure I didn't get that to jump off, because that for him was the game changer. That's what ruined that that game for Nick, was that green tide.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, look, I mean, I watched quite a big chunk of that, and it was kind of swinging all over the place. Like, when your boys actually got into combat with his destroyers at first, they didn't do anything. It looked quite exciting. So yeah, it looked like a good game. And yeah, Nick is always a good fun player to play against. Knows his stuff, and it's cool. So my game 2 was against the other Nick, from Average Brit Gaming, and he was playing Thousand Suns, an army that I know really, really well, and it's a beautiful Thousand Suns army he had as well. Really, really liked it. Had some stunning kind of lava bases on them. Really, really liked them. He had the Mutalith Beast, which you never see, which is one of my favourite models. Not particularly amazing in the game, but model stunning. And we had a really fun game. Like, we had a good game. Again, I rode my luck. Having first turn and managing to put the Gene Stealers into his Zangors meant I could clear them off before they really had a chance to do anything. Even with the 4-up Invon, actually no, I think he got first turn. Yeah, he did get first turn, but he decided to play really defensively. So he kind of changed his deployment. So he was in the middle of the board, and then to avoid the Hive Guard, he then rushed into one corner and then got his buffs up on his Zangors to make them a 4-up Invon. But I still ran straight into them, killed most of them off. By that point, there wasn't enough to really do any damage. And then he had some pretty poor luck. So his Demon Prince should have killed the Swarmlord, but I got a bit lucky on my saves, and the Swarmlord like limped off with a couple of wounds, which then meant I could then throw the second unit of Gene Stealers up the board at him as well, which hurt him quite a lot. But yeah, and it kind of went downhill from there. As I said, sometimes with the luck, if it particularly on like a small points value, when you start to do the damage and the luck goes on your way, it can spin away quite quickly. But it was a good game. Really enjoyed it. He was a top lad. We had a good laugh. So yeah, so that was, I think it was a turn 5 tabling by me, but so it went quite a long way. And it was a good game. So that gave us both two wins all, right, Darren?
That's correct.
So that meant only one thing, that the champion would be decided by a game of us two playing. So it's like home from home.
It was home from home, and then obviously Ace starts up the whole mind tricks and mind games with me straight away. Oh yes. No, yeah, you've definitely got this easy win. Nah, you're not going to do this. And then as soon as we start getting into it, sure, you want to do that. Oh, I don't know about that. Oh, I think you moved a bit too far on that. Oh, that's not right. Oh, don't think you could do that. So the whole way through, I've got Ace just like pounding me, and
yep, absolutely,
it was a hard game.
Yeah, I mean, so to kind of, it's easy to say it now, but so yeah, I mean, on paper, Darren's army should beat the Tyranids because a boy versus a Gene Stealer, which is basically what we're looking at in theory. So it's almost like Hive Guard versus Looters. Not a brilliant comparison because obviously Looters have got a lot more shots, but Hive Guard are a little bit more nasty with their potency. But other than that, they're similar in that way. But basically, I've got 2 units of Gene Stealers. He's got 2 units of boys, more or less. That's kind of where we're at. You've got bigger units of boys. I've got smaller units of Gene Stealers. The maths doesn't quite add up because with Green Tide as well, it takes more than 20 Gene Stealers to hit a unit of boys to kill them totally. Because if I don't kill them totally, they come back. So obviously I was on full troll mode, and I was trying to absolutely stress Darren out because he knew that he was on the cusp of taking it, and I knew that I could play some mind games with him and see if I could ruffle his feathers. And to be fair, he stayed pretty cool for most of the game. And I also had a clear game plan. My game plan was real simple: just rack up as many points early game as you can, and then try and hang on, because I knew that I could not beat him through like strength of army, because he outguns me, he outfights me, and he outnumbers me. So he should. And on this mission was one with quite a lot of objectives. So in time, he should also take ground. So on paper, I can't really win this game easily, and it's a real difficult matchup. So my plan was, I'm going to run out there, and I'm going to absolutely cause mayhem for the first couple of turns, see how many points I can pull out the bag, and then hold on for dear life. That was the plan, Darren. How did it go?
It nearly worked. Now, the only thing when I was looking back on, there's a couple of things that you've done that I thought was quite interesting. Now, bearing in mind that obviously the objectives were worth points, I would have probably gone myself with the Gene Stealers, then daisy chained 3 of the objectives, the back squad, and then that'd have been like 3 points up with that. But you went and protected the Hive Guard as best you could, just in case I had done the jump or managed to get in there. But like if that was me playing your army, I think that's how my first turn would have been: hold 3 objectives, be real, hold that back as best I can. Maybe the Swarm Lord try to get up to the 4th objective. And then you've done the right thing with the Gene Stealers getting into the squad. But I did think, shit, that's a lot of Gene Stealers coming in. If I don't get my attacks off and manage to get enough off, that's going to be devastating. And of course, your Swarm Lord was just frigging on fire. I was just having difficulty just trying to clear the fella off. He was just there, just like...
He was a boss. He's
got all these orc boys in there. He's like, get out of it. Just smacking his big dong all over the place. Knocking his orc boys everywhere. You just see, like, green bodies just flying everywhere. There's buildings with orcs hanging off it. And, like, this damn thing just wasn't dying. Like, the big knob comes in there. He's got his the big chopper, and he's, like, going at the damn thing. I thought, yeah, got it. Oh, yeah, I've got 3-up invuln in close combat.
Yeah.
He was having great numbers, and that's the crazy thing about it. Like, so hitting you on 3s, and then it's them wounding you on 5s. That's what really, really hurt. You know, that's the struggle. Like, wound you on 5s, and then the longer you're alive, you know, you're killing off. What was it 5-6 orcs a turn?
I was basically killing on average 5 a turn. Like 2 more turns, and that unit's gone. And when they went in, that was a full unit, of 30. By the time that you did eventually kill him, I think there was probably about 9 left. So 11. Yeah, it was 11. There you go, you count.
There was 11.
There was 11.
There was 11 damn orcs, and that's the scary thing about it, because I was looking at it thinking, shit, if I don't take if he doesn't go down, I'm in trouble. I'm in real big trouble.
Yeah,
and
because he's going straight with Smasher Guns.
Well, it would be a case of hoping that the Smasher Guns can do some damage, because if they don't do some damage, I'm in some real trouble here. Like, some horrible stuff is going to be chomping my way. And the gutting thing was, like, when I green tied the other boys and I had them right beside you and failed the damn charge, it's like, you had one job, job, and you failed it. And then, of course, you tried baiting me out with my warlord, with your warlord. The maths, just like, I did think about doing the proper orc thing, and just orcs are not scared of anything, just going straight into your big floaty tentacle sack thingy majig floating in the air. And I kind of thought about it, and I thought, well, look, you got 3-up invuln. I don't have no invuln at all.
Oh no, he didn't have an invuln, that one. No, I didn't have an invuln.
I thought he has a 3-up invuln.
No. They didn't have an invuln. It was just the fact that you didn't have a claw. You didn't have a claw, and I out-wounded you.
So the first time I get to use this fella in combat, I have to get to equip him with the most important thing out the whole damn thing. And then, but the even if I had the claw, I probably still wouldn't have done it.
Not in one round of combat, but you probably do still kill him, like, in 2 rounds.
Your fella, if this would have been the bad thing about it, if I'd have managed to go into combat and your damn silly little bug managed to squish my cool model on his cool bike, would have just been so friggin' bad.
It would have been a 2-point swing, and it was that close at the end. So it was like, you know, because we were on turn 5 as it was. Like Darren ran away with it because he did have a really good last turn. But if on that last turn you did charge in and a few other things didn't get, like, you didn't kill the Swarm Lord, for instance. If you didn't kill the Swarm Lord and then you went in and I killed you, that had been like a 3-point swing, which probably would have been enough to either make it a draw or a close loss for you. So it was it did go down to the wire. But Darren did take it, so well done. Congratulations, you are the champion.
Yeah. Just for that.
Show off the cup.
Did manage to get
the biggest cup you've ever seen.
By the way, I've got really big hands.
Yeah, they're like 6-foot size hands. That trophy is like massive. There you go. It's huge.
But look, it was really cool because, like, none of us expected. So, like, on the day itself, Nick done some really cool things. He set out a really, really cool spread. You know, it's food, drink. Wasn't expecting that at all. I was kind of expecting us all to chip in at midday, to, like, get pizzas in or something, or a Chinese. You know, so the guy, you know, went out of his way, supplied all that cool stuff, which was freaking awesome. And because it was a small event, wasn't expecting any, like, trophies or anything like that. I just expected, like, a little, you know, a little print out or something to say, well done, congratulations, first, second, and third. So that was freaking awesome. So, little medal, £20 worth of GW vouchers, and
it's amazing.
Got myself a really cool holder.
It's the big boy as well, isn't it?
And that's cool. That's really cool because they, you know, I was looking to buy another one the other day. So, and they're a really, really cool tool. If you haven't already used them for painting, definitely well worth getting. But yeah, that was absolutely awesome. So where did you come in the end, John?
Me, I ended up coming fourth after that because I was cursed by the curse of the failing at the last hurdle, which happens so often in my experience. That's where I always tend to bloody fail, get to the top table, and then lose on the top table and find myself out of the podium positions. But look, it was really well deserved, Darren. You played it well. You didn't succumb to my childish trolling throughout that whole game. You were in pieces by the end. Darren was a broken man by the end of it. He just looked like he wanted to break down and cry when he finished. He was just literally trolled him constantly for 2 hours.
We had the whole room of people, just like everyone just watching every single move you did. There was like nothing you could do.
Yeah, it was great. It was really good fun. But we're gonna get Nick on next week, and we'll talk about all things kind of Idic Beer and kind of how he's done what he's done in the last 10 years and how he's got to 15,000 subscribers. So it should be a really interesting chat. He's got loads of stories to tell and loads of hopefully some advice and some stuff to kind of share with you. So definitely kind of tune in next week for that. We wanted to be on this show, but unfortunately we kind of had a bit of a mess up on our times and things. But he will definitely be here next week. We look forward to seeing him. And if you're kind of watching this back, did you get a chance to put their links to the other guys in the in the description, Darren? If you have you in the chat?
It's in the chat, but it's not in the description.
Perfect. That's fine. So what I'll do is, or whoever decides to get this up on YouTube, is we'll also put the links to the other guys' YouTube channels in the description, so you can jump on and give them some love and tell them that Twisted Dice sent you. I know, as I said, they will really, really appreciate it. So we've been going well over an hour now, guys. So probably a good opportunity for us to take any last kind of questions, and then we'll sign off this evening. It's been a really good show, and hopefully you guys have enjoyed it. If you're only catching the end of it, then this will go up as a podcast, and you'll be able to listen to it back when I can get that out, which will be probably the beginning part of next week now, because I'm at tournaments this weekend. So, but yeah, any kind of final thoughts for you guys?
If you are listening to this back, and as I said, if you haven't already hooked us up on Facebook, please do. If you do come across a way of getting around this little Gatling cannon thing, please drop a comment down. In the group. That'd be absolutely friggin' awesome.
I've been in the Warhammer chat, and all people are telling me to do is make friends with Imperial Knight players.
Is that what we're gonna do? Make friends with Imperial Guard players?
Yeah, pretty much.
But no one's giving up those Gatling cannons for love or money, mate. That ain't happening.
I know. It's terrible, isn't it?
Just want shares in Gatling cannons. You'd be all right, wouldn't you? Your shares in Gatling. Sort of thing, Sean. I'm not surprised. I'm surprised you haven't got. When we go offline, you're gonna tell us that actually you've stockpiled 500 Gatling cannons. In fact, looking at a look, I wouldn't even put it past him. Go, actually, lads.
I've actually sold all my Gatling cannons last week.
I need to. I actually do need to have a route around the garage and see if I have a spare night line in there.
And you know what? They're never ending up on his nights. He's just going to sell them for silly money and then reinvest.
Actually, while we were in the show, I was pinging Warhammer World. Oh my god, Chris Sharp has come back to me. Let me get on that. Yeah, look at him. He's on it. Any questions, Darren, before we go?
Just one from Paulie or Mikey. Don't be lazy. Make it.
Okay, thanks. Very handy. Thanks very much for that.
Yep. Cheers for that. Much appreciated. What we got? In the ICT, can you use 30k models instead of 40k models for 40k Ahriman?
Yes. Yeah, no problem.
Yes, I was going to say, so for my 30k army, I use the 40k Ahriman because I think the 30k Ahriman looks dog shit. However, you can't use the 30k Magnus in the 40k version because there's a bit of a size difference. Magnus is kind of compensating for something in 40k.
Yeah, I think generally with most kind of tournament organisers and most kind of people generally, it's kind of the rule of cool. So if you look at it and you think, well, actually, that doesn't give me a massive disadvantage or advantage on the battlefields, it's not a massively different size, and it's not confusing, so it's not a so you can't proxy. So if it's a unit that actually already exists in 40k, you can't then use it for something else because that's not fair because that becomes confusing. But other than that, just go with the rule of cool. Does it look cool? Does it make sense to your opponent? If the answer is yes, then fill your boots and jump in because 30k is such a diabolical game. You might as well use the models for 40k and get some use for them, right? On that bombshell.
You trolling Sean,
I
are
don't
you?
know. Some people
No,
do
not.
convert to the extent that their conversions, you've no idea what they got. Like Simon's Exodus army is a great example. You turn up and you're like, okay, what is that dinosaur? And he's like, yeah, it's an avatar. And then you're like, okay, what's that? And they're like, oh, it's a Wraith Knight. And you're like, okay. And then you get 2 turns in and you're like, I have no idea what this is.
Especially if you play them last thing on a Saturday night when the drinks are flowing, it can come quite.
Oh, did I
quite
say that was
sticky.
my Wraith Knight? That's my Hemlock Fighter.
Yeah, I've had it. I've played that army, and I'm just like, my God, it is beautiful. Like I do not deny it, and I don't have much hate for it. But I'm like,
I feel
I'm
sorry
like,
for his
Simon,
little one where he's nicked their toys.
no.
Oh, I was watching that actually. I'm going to jump in there on that, Darren, because that is a Age of Sigmar kit, which is called the Ripidactyl, and it's from the Lizard Men collection. So I watched it
Okay.
last week, and I was shouting at the screen. I was like, Darren, you don't know your models. There you go.
No,
So
because I don't play Age of Sigma. I
well,
just put it out there.
that's what it is. So now you know. So it's a Ripidactyl from
See on my screen,
um,
John. When I go onto the
yeah.
Games Workshop website, that's all greyed out for me. I just can't click onto it. For me, it's like 40k, and if I try click onto anything else, it's just greyed out. It's weird. It's kind of like that thing out of Black Mirror.
You're missing out. Some of those models are absolutely incredible.
Oh,
Oh,
look,
Darren,
dude.
your
Some of the
posters is
stuff I've
just
seen
all
for
over the wall.
all the new models coming out do look really awesome. For me, for the gaming community that in Leighton Buzzard, it is a strong 40k environment. So for me,
It's time
if
as
I got-
well, isn't it? It's time. You haven't got
yeah,
time.
but like if I did got an Age of Sigmar army, I've got no one to play it with. So for me, it's like it's pointless me buying Age of Sigmar when I've got no one to actually play it with
Yeah,
apart from
sure.
myself.
Yeah, that makes
Darren,
sense.
one of your posters has just come off the wall.
No, it hasn't,
Okay.
Sean.
Such a troll.
It actually has. If you just look at the one beside the Blood Angels one, it's just fallen down.
It hasn't.
It has.
It hasn't.
Right, guys, on that bombshell, before this goes into proper anarchy, we're going to say thank you very much for listening. We really, really appreciate your time. And do join us next week for another live show or catch it afterwards on podcast. So thanks very much for watching. See you later. See you later. Bye-bye.
Bye.